Good afternoon, folks. I'm back out here in the yard. I posted a video about a week ago about how to sift your compost, which to me is a pretty boring topic, but apparently a lot of people want to know about how to sift compost easily. I went back and watched my video last night and I realized there's quite a few points that I forgot to mention. Alright, so you're going to sift your compost directly into a wheelbarrow. You got to make sure your wheelbarrow is not just going to fall over. I recommend putting some bricks or pavers or some kind of big flat stable surface underneath your wheelbarrow so it doesn't just keel over on you in the middle of sifting your compost. Next up, I want to talk about the construction of this frame. So this fits over my wheelbarrow quite nicely, especially side to side. These 2x4s on the outsides can just slot over the outside of my wheelbarrow, and on the back here this portion drops down below the top lip of the wheelbarrow as well, so the edge of the wheelbarrow is just pretty much right below the top of this thing. In the front here, this does not fit over the wheelbarrow. This is sitting totally high. This is not how I originally designed this. In fact, this is pretty much exactly how I didn't design it, but it turns out this is actually the best way because it keeps the front end higher and all the stuff is going to just make its way off towards the handles. And because it's going towards the handles and not towards the tip, the handles here kind of can act as a retaining feature. So if this jumps up over and tries to go way off the rails, the handles here will catch it. So the easiest way to make sure that all of your bolts and nuts come loose is to vibrate the hell out of them, and that's exactly what this project does. So before you start on this, if you're going to use a wheelbarrow and sift your compost into it using a vibratory device, you're going to want to go through and tighten all these nuts down, make sure everything is very good and tight before you start. And then after you've done, I don't know, 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes worth of compost sifting, you're going to want to go through and tighten them all up again. This is a pretty cheapo wheelbarrow. I have had this front wheel fall off probably 4 or 5 times in the decade or so that I've owned it. This all just wants to get loose and come apart, even through normal use. So by using a compost sifter on it, you're going to exacerbate that process. You're going to want to go through and tighten everything up, and then keep an eye on that because it will loosen up if you keep doing this a lot. So I talked about how you can remove these covers and adjust your concrete shaker to get the desired intensity of vibration. So I'm going to show you what that looks like. So I've removed the cap here, and you can see we have these weight plates. And right here we have 4 plates. It's held on with a nut to the threaded stud that goes through the whole middle of the whole motor vibrator assembly. And you can shift these individual plates. You can see these pegs sticking out here. There's a hole on the back end, so these all slot into each other and lock together. So if you want more vibration, you do what I've done here. So all the weight is biased off to one side. That's going to generate the most vibration. If you want half as much vibration, you could kind of take 2 of these and separate them and pivot them around and arrange them so the center of gravity is not so far offset. So kind of pivot maybe 2 of them about 90 degrees. I don't know. I haven't done the math on this. Sorry, I'm a mechanical engineer. I probably should have, but I'm winging it. So you have the same thing on both sides. So you have to remove both caps, and then there's a nut on each end, and you can remove those 2 nuts, and then you can restack the weights and rearrange them, remove them, add them as you want, and then tighten it all back up. You have to tighten both nuts at the same time, put the covers back on, and then you have fine-tuned the amount of vibration you're going to get from your concrete shaker. For shoveling your compost into the sifter, or really at all, I strongly recommend one of these, which is a transfer shovel. It's different than a standard digging shovel. It's pretty much a rectangle instead of a pointy kind of spade shape. So this is not good for digging a deep hole in the ground. This is meant for shoveling large quantities of compost or sand or dirt or whatever it is from point A to point B. Finally, you might have noticed in the last video that before I turned on the concrete shaker, I put on some hearing protection, and I strongly recommend you wear some kind of hearing protection, earplugs, earmuffs, something. This thing is loud as hell. It's super effective. It works really well, and it is loud. You're going to want to wear some kind of hearing protection because you're going to be out here for longer than you think. The 2 most important things to know about hearing loss are that it is cumulative and it is permanent, so don't mess around with this. Alright, that's it. Happy gardening. Please like, please subscribe, please comment. Thank you.